All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're tackling the power of connection.
Ooh, interesting.
And here's the twist. We're not just talking about, making friends.
Okay, got.
This is about how genuine connection can actually lead to success
I like it.
in business, in leadership, really in any area of life.
Makes sense.
Our main source material is, of course, Dale Carnegie.
Classic.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Definitely a must-read.
But we're going to be looking at it through a modern lens.
Oh, whose lens are we using?
We're going to be using the insights of entrepreneur Alex Hormozi.
Interesting choice. So why him?
Well, he's actually someone who's taken Carnegie's principles and applied them to build a crazy successful business.
So we're talking about real-world application, not just theory. I'm in.
Exactly. So Carnegie's book lays out all these, kind of simple principles, right?
Right.
Like being genuinely interested in others, really listening when they talk, remembering names.
The basics.
Yeah, sometimes it feels almost too basic. Like, does this stuff really work in today's world?
I get what you're saying. It's easy to dismiss it as, I don't know, simplistic.
Right.
But here's the thing. Think about it. At the core, they all tap into this human need to feel seen,
Seen.
to feel heard, valued, and that never goes out of style.
You're so right. It's like, when someone remembers your birthday or asks about that project you've been working on,
Yeah,
it totally changes how you feel about things.
exactly. And that's what makes Carnegie's work so powerful even today.
But isn't there a risk of, using these principles to manipulate people?
It's a valid concern, for sure. But I think the key here is genuine connection.
Genuine.
It's not about using tricks or tactics. It's about truly wanting to connect with others, to understand them.
And that's where Hormozi comes in, right?
Exactly. He doesn't just talk the talk. He lives it.
Okay, so he's not just, sitting in a boardroom making deals.
Not at all.
Hmm.
He's actively applying these principles in all aspects of his business.
So how does he do that?
Well, he focuses on three main areas:
Okay, lay it on me.
strategic alliances, effective leadership, and building an authentic brand.
All right, let's unpack those one by one. First up, strategic alliances.
So when we're talking about strategic alliances, we're talking about partnerships,
Oh.
collaborations.
Right, and I'm picturing him, work in the room, charming everyone he meets.
Well, charisma definitely helps, but
Absolutely.
there's more to it than that. He really spends time getting to know potential partners.
Really?
Yeah, understanding their businesses, finding common ground. It's not just about what he can get out of the deal.
He actually cares about the other person's success, too.
Exactly. And that's how he builds trust, which is crucial for any successful partnership.
Makes sense. So it's less about winning and more about finding those win-win situations.
You got it. And that same philosophy extends to how he leads his teams.
Okay, so leadership. What's his secret sauce there?
Remember Carnegie's emphasis on avoiding criticism?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, Hormozi really takes that to heart. Instead of focusing on mistakes or shortcomings, he highlights his team's achievements.
So lots of positive reinforcement.
You could say that. It's all about motivating people by making them feel valued and appreciated.
But isn't that kind of, time-consuming? Wouldn't it be easier to just, tell people what to do?
It might seem that way on the surface, but the payoff is huge. When people feel valued, they're more likely to go the extra mile.
True. I know I'd be more motivated by a boss who, acknowledged my efforts rather than constantly criticizing me.
Exactly. And when you create that kind of positive and supportive environment, people are happier, more productive, and more likely to stick around.
It's a win-win for everyone. Okay, so we've got strategic alliances and leadership. What's the third area where he applies these principles?
Branding.
Branding. How does connection fit into that?
It's all about authenticity. He's not just pushing products or services, he's sharing his story in a way that resonates with people.
So it's about connecting with people on an emotional level.
Exactly. People want to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. They're drawn to brands that share their values.
And Hormozi gets that.
He gets it. And he's built an incredibly successful brand by being genuine and connecting with his audience on a deeper level.
Wow. Okay. So we've seen how these principles work in theory and in Hormozi's life. But how do we, the everyday listeners, actually put this into practice?
That's the million-dollar question. And that's what we'll be diving into next.
Okay. I'm ready for some actionable advice.
Get ready, because the source material actually lays out some practical strategies that anyone can use no matter what you do or what your personality is like.
Seriously?
Seriously. And some of them are so simple, you'll wonder why you haven't been doing them all along.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. I can't wait to hear more.
Let's get to it.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the why of connection, but I'm curious about the what's in it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. We see Hormozi out there
Yeah.
crushing it.
Exactly. But what about the rest of us? What are the actual benefits, like besides just, feeling good and having friends?
It goes way beyond that, actually. Think about it. Stronger connections mean you have a bigger network, right?
Okay, yeah.
And that network opens up so many doors, opportunities you might never have even known about.
So, like, what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about it this way. You're more likely to land that dream job if you've got someone on the inside, right?
Yes?
Or you're more likely to find the perfect collaborator for that passion project you've been thinking about.
Okay, I see your point.
And it's not just about who you know, either.
It's not?
It's about the quality of those relationships. When you have genuine connections with people, your colleagues, your clients, even, your competitors,
Competitors, really?
it creates this environment where everyone's more willing to work together to help each other out.
I guess that makes sense. So, more collaboration, more innovation, maybe even, less stress at work.
Exactly. It can totally transform your work life. But let's not forget about leadership, too.
Okay, leadership. But I'm not, a CEO or anything.
Doesn't matter. Think about any time you've had to, rally a group of people, get them excited about something.
Like a project at work or volunteering or even just planning a party.
Precisely.
Hmm.
People are way more likely to follow someone they trust, someone who makes them feel like their opinions matter.
Oh, I see. So it's less about like barking orders and more about inspiring people.
And creating a shared vision. Absolutely.
I like that. It sounds a lot more, I don't know, collaborative.
It is. And speaking of collaboration, there's another huge benefit we haven't even talked about.
Okay, what's that?
The impact on your well-being, like your overall happiness and health.
You're saying connection is good for you.
It's not just good for you, it's essential. There's tons of research that shows that people with strong social connections live longer, healthier, happier lives.
Seriously. So this isn't just about like getting ahead at work.
Nope. It's about living a richer, more fulfilling life, period.
Wow. Okay, I'm convinced. But now I'm even more curious about the how. How do we actually make this happen?
That's the golden question. And lucky for us, the source material has some answers. And get
Yeah.
this. Some of them are so simple, you'll kick yourself for not doing them already.
Simple. Like what?
Well, we'll dive into the specifics in part 3, but I can give you a little sneak peek. Ready?
I'm all ears.
The first step is all about being present, like really, truly present with the people around you.
Okay, so less scrolling on our phones and more, actually engaging with the people right in front of us.
Exactly. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how much of a difference it makes.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, you'll have to wait for part 3, but trust me, it's good stuff. We're going to talk about practical strategies, little tweaks you can make in your daily life that can have a huge impact on your connections.
Okay, you've officially hooked me. I can't wait for part 3. All right, so we've explored the why, seen it in action. Now I'm ready for the how-to. Like, how do we actually make our connections stronger and, more meaningful? Give us the goods, the stuff we can use today.
Okay, well, first, and this might sound a little basic, but the first step is really just being present.
Present.
Yeah, like truly present with the people around you. I mean, we're all so plugged in these days, constantly distracted.
Oh, tell me about it. My phone is like an extra limb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just putting it down, making eye contact when someone's talking, actually listening to what they're saying, that's huge.
Okay, I can see that. It's like, you're showing the other person that they matter.
Exactly. And it makes them feel heard and respected, which is like the foundation of any good relationship.
Makes sense. So step 1, be present. What's next?
That's be intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah, don't just go through the motions, Make a conscious effort to reach out to people, check in, offer support.
So like sending a quick text to a friend who's having a tough week or calling your mom just to say hi.
Exactly. Little things like that can make a big difference. And remember those practical exercises we talked about?
The ones from the source material.
Yeah. Put those into practice. Like, try really listening to someone without interrupting for a whole day.
That's a tough one.
It is. Or make a point of acknowledging someone's effort, even if it's something small.
Okay, I can try that.
And see if you can go a whole day without criticizing anyone. That was a real challenge.
You're telling me. So it's like we're building our connection muscles.
Right.
Getting stronger with practice.
Exactly. Now, here's another powerful tool. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Isn't that like a little scary?
It can be, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also where real connection happens.
How so?
Well, when we let our guard down, show our authentic selves, even the messy parts, it gives other people permission to do the same.
You mean like being real, admitting that we don't have it all figured out?
Exactly. Nobody's perfect, and trying to pretend you are just creates distance. It's way more relatable to be, a little flawed.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm not sure I'm ready to bare my soul to everyone I meet, but I get the idea.
It doesn't have to be like a big dramatic reveal. Just, being honest about your struggles, asking for help when you need it.
That's good advice. And it brings up a good point. What about when things get tough? Like when we have to have those difficult conversations or navigate conflict.
That's where those Carnegie principles really come in handy. Remember that one about finding common ground?
Yeah, I remember.
That's so important in those situations. Instead of focusing on your differences, try to find something you can agree on.
So, like, instead of me versus you, it's us working together to find a solution.
Exactly. It's about shifting the dynamic from competition to collaboration.
I like that. And even when you do disagree, it's important to, be respectful.
Absolutely. Listen to the other person's perspective. Try to understand where they're coming from. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but it shows that you care.
And sometimes it means admitting that you're wrong or that you don't have all the answers. Which reminds me, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
that's such a big one.
Uh,
We often try to do everything ourselves, but it's okay to lean on others.
It takes a village, as they say.
It does. And connection's a two-way street, right? It's not just about what we can get from others, but what we can give.
So, like, being there for our friends, offering support, celebrating each other's successes.
Exactly. Be generous with your time, your energy, your encouragement. Those things are like little gifts you can give to the people you care about.
And it makes you feel good, too, like knowing that you're making a positive difference in someone's life.
Exactly. The more you give, the more you get back. It's like the beautiful paradox of connection.
This has been an amazing deep dive. I feel like I've got a whole new understanding of what connection really means.
And how to cultivate it, yeah.
Absolutely. But, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another to actually do it.
So true. It's an ongoing journey, a practice.
Yeah.
Just keep showing up, keep making that effort, and watch how your relationships transform.
Love it. So if connection is this powerful, what one small step can you, the listener, take today to apply these principles in your life? Think about it. What one tiny action can you take to strengthen your connections and make the world a little bit better? That's what we want you to walk away with today.
And remember, even the smallest gesture can make a difference. A smile, a kind word, a listening ear, all of these things matter.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious and keep those connections strong.